Hello again, YouTube. I was in two minds about attending this year's Motorcycle Live event at the NEC. It's quite a trek at a chilly and cold time of year. I'm not normally overly fussed about modernity, and the event is quite expensive. On the other hand, I have frequently stated that it's only miles when questioned about the distances I travel to go to places that I want to see and things I want to do. And there is some genuinely interesting newness at the show in the form of, for instance, Suzuki's first fully new engine in quite some time. And then there's Ducati's Larry single, not to mention Triumph's rather cute little 400s. And I received a free ticket courtesy of the Motorcycle Action Group. I've been a member of MAG for quite some time. I forget exactly how long. I agreed with their stance on helmet compulsion when I was a teenager, and I still do now. Although the professionally efficient lobbying group of today seems a world away from the 1970s. By the time I turned 17 and passed my motorcycle test, the helmet law was already a thing, but that didn't stop me enjoying the odd protest or two. I think many, indeed most people, misinterpret my objection and my understanding of MAG's objection to the helmet law. The wearing of a crash helmet is indeed a sensible thing to do. It provides a degree of comfort and protection from the elements, and crucially, may offer a degree of protection when things go horribly wrong. I don't think many people would disagree with that statement. Those are, in my opinion, the principal reasons for wearing a crash helmet. Not because someone tells me I have to. Maybe I'm a bit of an arse, but I've never been comfortable with other people making decisions, important or otherwise, on my behalf. I like to be presented with the facts and the options and allowed to decide. Education, not legislation, every time. MAG do seem to have distanced themselves slightly from the helmet debate, probably because they recognise it could damage their credibility, as a good many are not smart enough to make that distinction. I was cutting my biking teeth as MAG were fighting off the likes of Martin Bangerman, a man who seemed obsessed with interfering with my pastime preferences. Not just noise limits and fiddling with the licensing process, but he and his contemporaries went on to concern themselves with power limits and leg shields, and he even tried to ban prawn cocktail flavoured crisps. The 1980s were indeed a strange time. MAG have continued to counter the good ideas of those looking for a good cause to make a name for themselves. But more crucially, they have become much more proactive over the years, fending off unwanted legislation before it becomes a Goliath to be slayed. The list of reasons to support MAG is a long one, stretching back 50 years, and by reasons I mean freedoms. Preventing power limits, leg shields and anti-tampering legislation, access to bus lanes, the removal of tolls at crossings, all bear the MAG stamp and are just the tip of the iceberg. A credible, professional approach to effective lobbying at all levels of government, local and national, on such issues as potholes, motorcycle theft and diesel spills are all things that I'm prepared to pay for. After all, freedom isn't free. These are some of the reasons I support MAG, and if you still don't think it's good value for money, well, join and you might just get yourself a free ticket to the NEC. It's nearly 2024, so the place is awash with the obvious electric dreams, but refreshingly, that is in some small way countered by a credible, if very expensive, two-stroke. I have long supported the theory that a properly engineered two-stroke offers a genuine alternative, but the public perception of stink wheels is a difficult one to shift, and the resulting lack of interest and therefore investment and development keeps them at bay. Electric scooters are in abundance, many of them Chinese. They don't interest me in the slightest, but I suppose they will at some point represent the majority of powered two-wheelers, as a combination of phased-out petrol engines and bizarre licensing laws push the average motorcyclist's age even higher, eventually to become extinct. Indeed, GTE will cease to be Grand Tourer, but will be Greta Thunberg edition, sometime very soon, as the big names are all forced to stand in line. I must learn to set aside my preconceived prejudices once in a while, as amongst the badge-engineered sweet and sour powered two-wheelers are some genuinely new motorcycles. That is why we're here after all. Suzuki's GSX 8S represents their first fully new bike along with its derivatives in quite some time, as does Triumph's 400s, and the hyper-motard 698 single is something that only seems possible in Ducati's post-Taglioni era. Everyone is raving about BMW's latest incarnation of its hugely successful GS range. Indeed, it could be suggested that GOT rides a Beamer. But my spidey senses tell me that sports bikes are about to dethrone the tall rounders and re-emerge once again as the principal category of bikes sold in the UK.
We'll try and help support the UK version in developing that younger talent. Obviously for us.
In amongst the circa 60 new models of motorcycle at the NEC is the new Himalayan, or Himalayan as we're constantly told it should be pronounced. We Brits love an underdog, which may explain the success of the Royal Enfield. Its clunky, chunky, robust, simple and affordable nature went a long way with the buying public, bolstered no doubt by the exploits of Itchy Boots. This new version has gone all modern, however, and Royal Enfield themselves have been a little bit cagey about it, not disclosing specs and making early access to the press difficult, and thus far withholding news of the price. So I do hope they haven't pissed in the well. As well as the modern stuff, the marques who claim some sort of heritage, like Royal Enfield, Triumph, Norton and BSA, were displaying some genuine classics alongside their so-called modern classics. And the National Motorcycle Museum had displays as well, which always makes my day. The term modern classic does make me cringe a bit, as BSA, for example, has no relation whatsoever to the small heath bikes of old, but I do like the bikes.
GT says very much down there, wearing the Kawasaki uniform, more than happy to fill you guys with all the information and questions.
There were a few absentees, but there was quite a lot of manufacturers and exhibitors spread across several halls and zones. Test rides and rolling roads, riders and celebrities, fun and games, from 150 miles per gallon to 150 miles per hour. It's mostly all here. A grand day out. Thank you once again to the Motorcycle Action Group for making it so. So did I find anything that really took my fancy? Oh yes.
Down the back straight, the exhibition straight here, all the way towards the Fogarty S is named after the great Carl Fogarty himself. And on the grass on the way in is a rather unorthodox line, but he gets the direction change very quickly. Impressive.
So all rider control off, I'm just going to ride up and down the front rail.
We're going to kick off the show with a nice little video showing the R1300 GS out in the wild doing skits.